Hey everybody, we are Squawking Dead. And we got a special episode, a first time 4-person host podcast. I don't even know what to call it. A quadrant of sorts. We've got Squawking Carol on my bottom left. We've got Talking Dead Ultimate Superfan Ashley Weidman on my top left. And I've got Chris on my top left. I don't know where everybody is. Chris from BMNY DeadCast, Beazt Mode NY. And these are all very special people to me in different ways. We're going to be talking about episode 11, Bounty, everybody. And this is going to be an interesting conversation, trying to overrun each other. See if we can get some insights in. Everybody's really, really quiet. Like, oddly. Because I think you guys know my shtick by now. Shit. I usually go into an intro. Like, I go into a monologue. But I've kind of, like, stopped doing that. You know?
I know you have. Like, you've kind of just started getting into it.
Yeah. And so, I just kind of jump in, hey, guys, what's up? I like, wear a stained T-shirt. Like, yeah, I don't care about this podcast anymore. I gotta let myself go. I really have, though. It's really bad.
I try not to talk over anybody. Like, I practice, when we have someone on the show to, like, anticipate when they're done. So that way we're not stumbling over each other.
All right. Yeah. So for those who don't know, BMNY, basically, they do a lot of really cool interviews with people on the show, people, cast members, people that contribute, etc., new and old. And so they're pretty experienced with interviews, not like all of us. Now would be a good time to actually explain what you do, Chris.
What do we do? We started out in a basement with a laptop, just doing audio stuff. It wasn't until we actually hooked up with a good artist friend of ours, Oscar Rodriguez, who said,
Oscar's
"Hey, man."
Red Hat.
Yeah, Oscar was like, "Hey, look," he's like, "I have this guy. He's on the show. He's gonna have some big parts coming up. His name's Peter Zimmerman. He plays Eduardo." And I was like, "All right, cool." He was like, "Yeah, but he wants to do video." And I was like, "Man, I can do anything he wants." So that first actual like vlog cast was an absolute shit show. I know nothing about technology. I am like very basic. So that was a scramble, but we got it done. And since then, after Peter, it's been just one step after the other. I mean, and it's been amazing. It's basically, we are the median for the fans to be able to ask whatever question they've been wanting to ask that person about the show, about what they do for, their life, whatever. As long as it's not too personal, we don't dive into that kind of stuff. But we're just a good median, and it works really well. The actors love it, the fans love it, and it's been doing pretty good.
I'll say the last few live shows that I attended, I feel like we've ratcheted up, or at least me and a couple of others have ratcheted up the giggles on your end, because I'm always trying to I think we're always just trying to get a laugh in out of you, because it's just so funny every now and again to hear you crack up while you're trying to take somebody seriously on the other end, and we're always catching you on the receiving end of an answer. So
this past one with David Delarocco,
oh my god,
talking about the fuzzy navels and the Long Island iced teas. And then you went and put a complete different spin on it.
Yeah.
And it dropped me. I was really holding it back.
Yeah, I'll tell everybody what I said. And I was just getting it. I'd been listening in the car for like the first 15 minutes, and somebody was talking about fuzzy navels, and I was just thinking, oh my god, am I really going to say this? And I said, okay, what do you get when you when you drop a Long Island iced tea into a fuzzy navel? And you get a fuzzy asshole. So, I think it's more of a regional joke too, because Long Island. So yeah. So you're welcome, internet.
Yeah.
And Ashley, actually, this is actually a really good moment to kind of go through what you're doing lately, Ashley, because as most people may or may not know, you won the Talking Dead Ultimate Fan contest last year.
I did, and they're announcing a new one on Sunday.
Oh yeah, fingers crossed for some of the people that are listening on the show right now, actually too. I know quite a few people have actually entered in, and but yeah, you are actually doing you're doing like is it an Etsy store?
Yeah,
per se? Yeah.
I do like digital invitations and anything that you would need for that you could print out, like food tents, party signs, things like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, nothing Walking Dead related, but you know.
But it's pretty cool. I mean, you're
it is cool.
Like mom with a cape, you know, mom by day, enterpriser by night. Because you work after hours.
I do. Yeah, I do. It's exhausting, but whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
It's funny. It's funny thinking about me at this time last year because they didn't even announce the Ultimate Fan until April. It was actually Easter.
Right.
And so like thinking about like how I felt last year, I just think about these people now and I'm like, oh my God, they're probably so nervous. And I just remember that feeling, like just being so nervous and excited and anxious. So I'm very excited to see who the new Ultimate Fan is. Yeah,
the anxiety on some of the people that we know that are entering right now, it's just palpable right now. As I'm talking to some people.
What have they been saying?
It's like fits. It goes in fits. So they go from being like, oh my God, I really want to win this thing. I really do. And then they'll just focus on something else completely.
Right.
Like, oh, what, this is my Walker Stalker fund. And they post a picture of that. And then they're focusing, they're multitasking so they don't have to think about it. So it's just kind of funny. Not funny. It's, I get it. I mean, I saw a lot of that, in our last giveaway too. Like the last 3. People were messaging me being like, I really hope I win. I hope I'm doing this right. If I don't do this right, I'm just going to, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about my life of not doing this right. like, whoa, slow down. Therapy. But I am not a licensed therapist.
Yeah. That's so exciting though. I'm nervous for him.
I am too. I mean, my nerves are kind of shot right now, but now I think it's a good time to also say, before I continue, we are currently, as a show, we are currently competing with Whiskey Cavalier, and I can honestly say that we're actually doing quite well.
Did you watch it at all? Have you?
I didn't watch the preview. Did any of you guys?
No,
I didn't.
I don't have live TV. Like
I don't either. I don't
have cable or anything like that anymore.
I don't either.
Oh man. Well, honestly, that's really, really good.
Yeah.
Because
if it's not on Hulu or, Netflix, then, or like HBO Go. So
Hulu, Netflix. I mean, I have all of it. And I use none of it. It's just so bad.
I've been binging Game of Thrones, just getting ready for it. Like I think I'm in like season 4.
Oh, good for you. Like I keep getting pressured to binge it and I'm like, I'm so far behind. Like
you can do it. Yeah. It's just a lot.
I mean, we got 45 days, I think 40 days, something like that left.
Yeah.
I think there's almost that many episodes, I want to say.
Oh my gosh.
Is it 10 per season or 12? Something like that.
Yeah. 10.
Yeah. So that's, you can do it.
Yeah.
I mean, you especially. Yeah.
I watch at least 2 a day, so it gets me there.
Did you see Kit Harington is going to be at the Walker Stalker in Germany?
I saw that.
Isn't that crazy?
That is nuts.
That's crazy.
That's
I know.
some star power, man. Oof.
That is star power.
I'm sweating.
I know.
And he's slowly showing up. Kit Harington's like been showing up in different like series too, like just here and there.
Is he?
Along with the other dude, the guy that played Robb Stark, and I can't remember his name at the moment.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I can't remember it either.
He's a sexy bitch. It's also a good time to kind of refresh people on what Carol does too. Mom, like she's crazy.
I am crazy.
I'm just off the bat. Mom of 2, workaholic, architect. Yeah.
Yes, by trade.
Tell him all the other things you do too.
What other things? It's a blur.
Because you were going to be like a community something or other, and then
yeah, I thought about joining my like community board. I was like, yeah, no, no one has time for that. Like, it's enough. Like the working full time, and I tell people all the time, like as soon as I walk in the door, it's like I'm attacked by 2 kids and a dog. So it's like that's the rest of my night, and we record now at 10 because the kids are asleep.
Sorry. Yeah. No kids to speak of, but yeah, I mean, my thing is nothing like yours, and I still can't make time to sleep. I mean, I'm also a workaholic. I got home today at 8. You know, I set most of the things up last night. I set the stream up. I do that, but that's it. It's the show. It's the show and my work, and I can't even handle that. It's time mismanagement.
That is still a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do a lot of engineering and development for this show. So,
you do. You're the brains behind the operation.
Yeah. And I talk to people because I like doing that, and you know, it's kind of a nice little thing to do in between shows, and I get some ideas from some people too. It's really great because some people have really good ideas.
And sometimes we just stumble upon things.
Treasures, I'll tell you. I mean, you guys must do that too. Like, you know, you guys talk with people on Instagram and you know, the other stuff that somehow exist. But yeah, mostly Instagram, I think. But you guys run into people like that. You guys talk on the side. Actually, Chris, do you do any lives on Instagram lately?
No, I mean we tried to do it, you know, with the phone,
right?
You know, and you only get 1 hour out of it, kind of thing.
Yep.
The quality isn't terrific. So, and like when we do it, we just prop the phone up on like a stand, face.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's just
Was it like facing the monitor or something, or was it just facing you guys?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have it so that I can see the chat. So it's facing me, but then I hit the camera so it flips, so I can see the chat while everybody else can see, you know, what's going on, basically.
Right.
So it's low grade material, but it gets the job done.
Very lo-fi.
Yeah. So,
well,
but
side note, like when Dave and I first started doing this podcast, I mean, I was traveling a lot for work, and I mean, we were recording out of like 1 week. We were recording out of like my sister's apartment in New York. One weekend was
that was the first week. That was the first one.
The first one was out of my sister's like spare room because I was like in New York for work. Then Philadelphia one time, Mexico during a family vacation.
That was funny.
That was really funny. Actually.
Yeah. Oh, and let's not forget to mention the famous episode that we had with you in the hospital.
Yes, I was in the hospital one time.
Tell them how you managed to get there, because that was...
it's awful. So I had to go to the hospital for a random hand infection, which I swear I probably got at the gym lifting weights. Mm-hmm. And so I had to... So I went to the hospital because I thought it was just like, they're going to give me a tetanus shot and that was it. They were like, well, no, you have a infection under your skin and we have to operate. So the next thing I know, I'm in the hospital, they operate, but I still have to stay in the hospital. So Dave is, texting me and he's like, how are you doing or whatever? And I was like, well, I kind of still want to record because this is the perfect time. There's no kids. I'm in a hospital room by myself. Like, I have my own room. Like, this is a level of privacy I haven't had since like, I can't even say labor because there's always nurses coming in and out. So this was like serene. And like I was on painkillers. So I was like beyond like mellow and calm.
Yeah. To sum it up, it was the most, it was so weird because I'm trying to pep up the show because she's lucid. Okay. Let me give you the picture. She's lucid. But she'll keep like running over a point and she's slurring her words. So like there's something there. It's there. It's just
there.
There's a part of her that feels like she can't get the point out. So she'll go back over it again and again while slurring her words.
That's what morphine will do.
It was on my end. Like after I finished editing this show, cause I had to like concatenate her thoughts.
Yeah.
Like it was, but like you wouldn't know it by the time the edit was done. Like, and we weren't doing lives then, so thank God for everybody else. But but like a day later, like after all the frustration from editing, like what was like a 2.5-hour show or something, or something absurd. Yeah. Like I think I managed to edit it down to like an hour because of going. Oh man, and I would not want to stop it a day later, I was listening to the edited version and I was laughing my ass off because you couldn't tell unless you were there how like drugged up she was. But I know, so I'm laughing hysterically. Like every time I listen to the episode, it's a little treat and treasure for me.
I completely forgot about that, but yes.
Yeah. So guys, episode 11, Bounty. So what I usually do at the top of the show is I say, hey guys, Carol, and hey, she's cool. And then I'll say, Carol, start the show. But you know what? I'm not going to start with Carol. The honor usually goes to her, and pay your dues. I will give the honor to our first time guest host, Chris.
Oh no.
Yeah.
There you go.
So pick anywhere in the episode that you like to start off with, and we'll just go from there, and I'll probably just take over anyway.
I'm probably going to start, the most intriguing thing, I'm actually trying to find it because we were talking about it in one of the chat rooms that we have on Twitter. And we were talking earlier about the whole situation with Daryl going to leave and being stopped by
Connie.
Connie, and about how she wanted to go with him. And a lot of people are speculating that she's been bit.
Yeah, I heard that.
Oh,
I don't think so though.
I don't think so either.
I think something in her past is a lot to do with Daryl. I don't think she was bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now a lot of people are trying to say like, is it going to be like a relationship thing and blah blah blah, and everybody starts jumping to conclusions.
Yeah.
I think her being in that cornfield with the baby and like that scene that played out, where they did it from her perspective.
Right.
And it's,
right.
You can't hear anything. This is what someone with being deaf, that disability in this type of world, she's got a baby. She doesn't realize that the baby, unless she's looking down, is crying.
Yeah.
Attracting all this attention. And, she's really, her senses, all her other senses are so heightened, and at some points, I thought, holy cow, they might take her and the baby out right now. Cause who knows with this show.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
They've been wiping out people. And I'm like, are we really going to watch like a baby get taken out right now?
Right.
While and there were some close calls. So for some people to speculate, she might have gotten maybe scraped or bitten. I guess the possibility's there because there were a few times where she threw her arm back,
right?
Kind of like get herself away.
Right.
I mean, look what the whole thing they did with Carl with the way he got bit.
Right.
Who knows? I don't think so. If she would have received a bite mark, it would have had to have been on an exposed part of her arm from her elbow down.
Right. Had to be visible.
And they show her sitting and writing. Yeah. Nothing's covered that I can see.
Right.
So I just kind of think that she just doesn't want to be there right now. And she wants to maybe make herself more useful. I don't know.
I think so. I think like that was definitely like the most chilling part of the whole episode. I mean, that baby scene, the hostage negotiations. I mean, that scene had the tension. It took me back to like the time of the governor. And
it had those feels, and it had the hospital feel too when they were exchanging Beth. Because I thought for a second when Lydia was back with Alpha that Alpha was just going to kill her. Yeah. I thought she was just going to just kill her right in front of everybody.
Yeah, I thought that was going to happen, or either the two guys that were holding Luke and Alden were going to just kill them anyway. Like they weren't going to let them go. Yeah, right there. So I was like really like at the edge, and with the whole baby thing, I was like logically speaking, I kind of felt like, okay, the show's not going to go there, and we're not going to see baby get devoured. But in the back of my head too, I was also like, I don't know, I don't know either, because it was so tense. And I was like, I mean, maybe they're going to do it. I don't know. So it really had me on the edge of my seat. That scene was tense.
Well, they didn't do it for Judith. So, and by the way, I've been taking the time out to watch Z Nation. They go zombie baby in the first episode.
Yeah,
It's so hysterical. Like, but here's the thing. Like, I mean, I'm having a hard time watching that show. It's like, honestly, The Walking Dead sets. I don't know. I'm watching it on Netflix now, actually, because I know I think either their run has already ended or
I think it's over.
Yeah, because there's like 5 seasons and but it's just like so.
It crosses a weird line between Z Nation, and I mean not Z Nation. Oh my God.
Oh, you're
Zombieland.
That's what I was gonna say.
Like,
sorry.
It crosses like this weird line between Zombieland, like where it's comical, kind of laid back, funny.
Yeah.
But they try to make it serious, but it's not. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like it doesn't know what it wants to be. I mean, that's the thing.
Yeah.
I'm only 5 episodes in, but to the first season. But yeah, it's because it embraces that the horror genre, you know, a la Zombieland, and it takes a lot of tropes from The Walking Dead. But yeah, it goes from being like absolutely ridiculous, and then but also the emotional swings on the show are just really wide. Like they go from PTSD all the way to just being like ball busting and you know, comic relief. Then you go back to serious and you go back to PTSD, and then the camera angles make me crazy. The camera work makes me nuts. Like the shaking camera angle, the weird diagonal angles, like not high bird's eye view, but just like just like that. Just diagonal, just a little bit. Like, and then everything has to be like it's like cheap camera work. It's like they're trying to be something like that that the show clearly isn't. You know, like the show clearly isn't that like serious.
It was like video game footage. They tried to make it like video game footage to me in some spots where I felt like they were filming like a, you know, like when a video game goes into like video mode and it shows an outtake or whatever the hell it's called.
Cutscene, right? Or no?
A cutscene.
Yeah.
It's like they're filming it like a cutscene almost. Like the whole show's a cutscene.
Yeah. That makes so much sense.
Bam, 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 bam.
It's like, when can I play? Can I play?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's really silly. Yeah, and
it's got some good points though. I mean, I did enjoy some of the episodes.
You know, I enjoy the moments. Moments that go along.
There's a really cool scene later on you'll enjoy. I forget. I think they must be in Wisconsin or somewhere. I'm not really sure.
I just saw the episode where they're in Kansas and they have this really, and again, comical.
Did it involve a big wheel of cheese?
No, but in Kansas. Okay. There's like there's no place like home, Wizard of Oz,
right?
So the Walker tornado. So they have a Walker-nado, Carol.
Yeah, pretty much.
And they show the walkers like flying off the funnel at the top or whatever, and they're just flinging these zombies. They're flinging these zombies around. Oh boy!
Wait till you see the big wheel. I'm gonna say, wait till you watch the episode.
Big wheel of cheese.
Big wheel of cheese.
Well, they're clearly not going in a straight line. They're going like, was it? I don't know where they were the week before, but like I thought they were further along in the West. Yeah, I just
travel a lot.
I don't get it. The shittiest road trip ever. Anyway, we got on this because in the first episode first season, like halfway, like less than halfway into the episode, zombie baby, like a baby who's crying and then it turns. You know, and it's like comical because it's CGI baby and it's just running away. And
do you kind of agree? I don't know if you've heard this theory that people think kids born in after like the zombie apocalypse happened, they're immune and they can't turn once they die. What do you think about that?
Yeah, for the record,
like Judith and baby Grace and.
I mean, maybe, because it all depends on like the whole origin of this thing. Because if everyone has it, then for me, it's like, I think of it as like some sort of like, was there something in the water supply, some kind of vaccine that everyone was getting if everyone has it? So it would kind of make sense. Like if they're born after the apocalypse has started, that they potentially wouldn't have been exposed to whatever it was that everybody was exposed to.
Right.
I would think. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. We've talked about it a lot, and I think as a general consensus, even when you watch movies and stuff like that, they try to. It's like, you know, the newer generations will either have like a mutated gene in their DNA that won't allow them to like turn. They kind of like, you know, outgrow it or something.
Evolution.
Yeah, pretty. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you know,
adaptation.
Yeah, that's it.
You know, so who knows? Yeah,
I'm more in the camp of, and since we're all within the context of The Walking Dead, I'm more in the camp of there will never be a cure, there will never be a vaccine.
Yeah,
I'm more in that camp. I will say I would be more, I would believe it to where, okay, maybe if you die, you don't turn. That's it.
Yeah. What if you what if you get bit?
If you get bit, you turn. For sure.
Even are you talking like Judith? Like even if she gets bit, she'll turn.
Yeah, I'm down with that.
Okay.
I'm down with her turning. Okay. no, but yeah, she will turn if she gets bit. Die. Yeah, but I would believe more the kind of consensus that if people die, they don't turn. You know that I can see that. I can see them finagling that. And I asked this question in the last episode. I just wanted to see what you guys thought about this. Was didn't it seem that the guy, when they were in the flashback and the guy that basically Alpha chokes out, didn't it seem as though that guy took a little longer to turn after dying?
Kinda.
Right?
Yeah.
Everyone was asleep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they also talked about at the CDC where they were.
Did how some people could be 3 minutes, some people could be hours. Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed.
But I will. Then I will.
Different.
Oh, say again.
Everybody's different. I mean, you know. Shane wasn't that long.
No.
Carol's ex-husband, he didn't take too long either, I don't think.
What about Amy though?
I was gonna say, well,
Amy.
She took a little while.
She took a little while.
She did take a little while. So I mean, they've shown different time frames.
Yeah.
You know, throughout.
I will say one thing. Didn't Fear the Walking Dead establish that people? It took like 72 minutes for people to turn, something like that, like consistently.
When he was killing people for no reason.
This is Troy in season 3. Which,
by the way, he's coming back.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So he's not dead.
Who knows? Honestly,
see, I revisited that scene, and she hits him once, I think, or twice. She hits him once or twice.
All I know is that it felt like the hammer stuck into his head.
He looked pretty dead.
So,
yeah.
Good night.
I didn't know you guys are fear watchers too.
Yeah.
I dragged Carol kicking and screaming into fear, and I feel so bad.
We have interesting discussions on fear.
Yeah, I feel bad because I've told a lot of people, like, I know if you think season 1 might be rough to get through and season 2, actually, I really liked season 1.
I really liked season 1 too. I really did.
Yeah, I enjoyed that
from the beginning.
Yeah,
I loved seeing how society fell. I loved it. I mean, I don't love seeing society fall. I like.
Right.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing was for people to get over the fact that where The Walking Dead, you're thrown right into it.
Right.
You're introduced right to your main characters, and you're sucked into the story right from that point. Where Fear had to build it all for you.
For sure.
You know, they had to like take your hand and walk you through it.
Right. And I think a lot of people are frustrated with the fact that like they're a zombie, kill him in the head, and they didn't know, and they were like stabbing them and pushing them and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I did. I yelled at the TV. I'm like, you're doing it wrong.
Right. The part with when the principal comes walking down and she's like, "Are you okay?"
Yeah.
No, he's dead. Kill him.
And yet he lives. No.
Yeah.
Right.
But I could see a world where like fresh zombies, they just take a little while longer to turn because they're not as squishy in the head, you know?
Yeah. I read a book about that. I believe it was A.R. Wise's Deadlock series, where he wrote about how the fresher people who had died, their bone matter would be a lot more, a lot harder, a lot more. So if you stabbed them in the head with like a rigid knife,
it gets stuck.
You wouldn't slide the knife back out because the bone matter would be still firm. It would still, so you wouldn't be like you'd essentially be ripping through the bone. Your weapons would be getting stuck in the bodies. You essentially just have to leave it there.
We got it. Yeah.
By the way, I had the same reaction to when I saw Gladiator with the.
Oh God.
Yeah, I just started laughing at all the gory parts. I'm just like, I just hysterically laughing. I don't know. It's like one of those not fear responses, but
Nervous responses.
Yeah.
Besides watching Game of Thrones again, and I'm like, wow, this is gory. I forgot how gory this.
So bad. Lots of boobs. Lots of blood.
Yeah. There's boobs and butts everywhere.
But it mellows out a little bit. But
and there's quite a lot of male frontage too.
It's about equality.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know why I did that voice too. Guys, it's about equality. Yeah, sorry, I just triggered America. Sorry.
Yeah. Now people know why they never showed it before, because who the fuck wants to see the man junk swinging around? Nobody.
No, that's fine. It doesn't bother me. I mean,
it doesn't bother me.
Chris, how old are you actually?
I'm 41.
Okay, so we're about the same age. So when I was younger, I know why we're going to this tangent, but I mean, look, we grew up in the 80s. We've been to a Y locker room. You saw a bunch of old dudes in the shower rooms,
I still see it every day at the gym.
There you go. So
I'm like, put a towel on. You're not in your I'm like,
if anything, Game of Thrones is more offensive if you really think about it, because it doesn't show the reality. Like, this is not real. This isn't the junk that's in the locker room. Somebody went in there and did some trickery.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm making scissor fingers for escaping. Something's off.
We went hard right on that one.
Yeah. I'm the one who usually brings things on track. So yeah, the kingdom's preparing for the fair. Wonder how they're doing that.
We were talking about how we thought a baby was going to get murdered, and now we went right to junk.
How in the world?
I don't want to follow that logic, but yeah, to man junk, manscaped man junk. That's the name of this episode now. So let me just change the description. But yeah, okay. So we're talking about immunities, and we got there because Connie and the baby and how nervous we were. And yeah, I mean, I agree with all of you. Like, honestly, the point of view was that of Connie having the barely muffled sound, and you could hear just the little bit of Walker in the back of your ear. If you have surround sound, and it just ratcheted up all that tension tenfold. You're in the camera work is very it's not a very wide angle lens, so you're seeing kind of a narrow path. And it just, it was so great when the show gets to do something that it's never done before. It'll give you that kind of auditory or non-auditory experience.
Yeah. I'm very excited that they introduced somebody with, you would consider, I hate saying it, but with a handicap, being someone who's deaf. And
a disability, yeah.
Yeah, it has brought an element that it's been missing. Not that you'd sit there and be like, well, I sit there and I'm like, wait a minute, where are all these types of people? Where where it's just you had these different communities, you had that one Spanish community that we don't see anymore. You had all the cops at the hospital.
Right.
And it's just there's so many people in the world. It's nice to now start seeing diversity in the show.
Yeah, I mean, we've always had diversity, I think, right? But I think it's just but what about this? What about that? But I like how the show does it in a way that it's not it's here's some diversity and it just shoves it on the screen. I think, look, we're in season 9, so I think bringing it in now it's just kind of
yeah. I mean, now there's teenagers. You know what I mean? It's stuff that's where are all the young kids at? Where you're watching this and it's well, it's just older middle-aged people. What's going on in the rest of the world right now?
Yeah, they all look like us.
So I like seeing that now that it's the community and it's evolving, young children, babies, whatever, all the way through the teenage years, kids who are growing up in this world.
Old people. right? I mean, that's kind of a rare commodity in ways too. So with the Suttons, you get a little of that too.
Right.
The old and
infant. They have the baby, the Whisperer's baby. So it's like, where's that gonna go?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of us have read the comic. Actually, Chris, have you read the comic? Because I know that. I mean, Ashley, you don't read the comic, right? No. Chris, do you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So the bottom two on my screen, because that's what counts, have read the comics. These two haven't. So it's like the Brady Bunch. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
You get some different perspectives. I mean, like, I do know a couple things. I mean, just because of all the graphics that I collect. But yeah, I mean, you do too, I'm sure. But yeah.
I feel like because this storyline is one that has been hyped so much, a lot, whether you've read the comics or not, a lot of people kind of, for lack of a better word, like heard whispers of what this was. Like they've heard, already, like people have had an idea of what this storyline was going to be about. So whether you read the comic or not, like I came from the background of reading the comics, so I kind of, and some things they've kind of followed. I mean, and I've told Dave this before, that I'm really glad with the casting that they did for Alpha, because she is different on the show than she is in the comic, but I almost feel like it's better. In the comic, she's more kind of alluring and vixen-like or whatever, and I think that's a bit of an easy route to take. She's so much more menacing on the show. Yeah. Like, even without her mask, I was like, whoa, this is terrifying.
Yeah, and even though we mentioned that last week, I just popping onto Melissa, was it Melissa Susan Cameron's live, I think it was last night, she said the same exact thing that you did in the same words too, vixen-like in the comic.
Yeah.
And and it's just so, you know what, it's just terrific, because it's the same thing, the same kind of treatment that they gave to the governor, and they kind of just made it more human, it made more sense.
It makes more sense.
That this is what that produced. So, yeah. But it's also great to see, like, the entire cast's reaction to Alpha also, too. Just seeing her in that makeup be who she is being. Like, the genuine kind of terror that everybody's kind of feeling towards Samantha Morton. It's fantastic.
I mean, she's amazing, but I can't wait to see Beta this week.
Yeah.
I cannot wait to see that.
That gravelly voice.
He's a big guy too.
Yeah.
Holy crap. Has anybody looked up how tall Ryan Hurst is?
I've stood next to him several times. He's very tall.
He's like 6'6", 6'7", something like
he's
that.
very, very tall.
And Matt Lintz isn't like a squirt either. Like, he's not that short.
Yeah.
He's just about as tall as Norman Reedus.
Who?
As Matt Lintz,
Henry.
the guy who plays Henry. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, Norman Reedus, I would say, is probably like 5'10".
Yeah, which is a little above average, right? I'd say. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's a big dude.
And then Henry just looks like a squirt right next to Ryan Hurst. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, I've watched him walk around at the cons, and you obviously can't miss him. Like, literally, he's 2 feet taller than everybody else.
Yeah, he's so tall.
Yeah, I never was one of those guys that like wished I was taller. I'm like 5'2", so put that in your pocket. But like, I've never been so like unenvious of anybody who's really, really tall, because if you really wanted to kind of navigate through anywhere, like, you just can't be missed. You can't squat down and hunch. Everybody's gonna see you. It's kind of like, it's kind of like a freak show. You're like towering over everybody.
Yeah.
And then like him looking, the way he does, which is not bad. I'm just saying, like, just the big beard and just peering over everybody like this.
I actually walked by his booth at, was it Walker Stalker Chicago? No, was it Jersey? Might have been Jersey. Like the first Jersey I went to, I think it was. Yeah.
You went to the one just past, right? And
I did, but I went to this past one, but then I went to a year prior.
Oh, gotcha.
And I walked by his booth. He was literally taking a photo. He had his arm around this woman, and her head was straight in line with like where his belly button would be. I'm like, that's got to be the most awkward photo to try to take ever. Like, the person standing 20 feet back, trying to make it fit,
Yeah. I'm just having flashbacks. I'm just telling you right now. It's my life is very interesting when it comes to hugs. And not all my girlfriends have been like about my height, so color me flushed. I'm going through the Rolodex right now, but anyway, which I've thrown out years ago. But yeah. So, and we of course we do see those sneak peeks too of Henry encountering Beta, that gravelly. I actually put this in a comment somewhere. I said, "Oh my God, Ryan Hurst sounds like an evil Josh Brolin with like a speech impediment." Like it's just that gravelly Josh Brolin.
It sounds like they did like an electronic thing to his voice almost, like when he's talking.
Yeah,
it's weird.
Like modulation.
Yeah, like I don't know.
I think they just put something in his mouth, like
might have.
To kind of make it sound. No, that's just his keto diet. It's all he eats is bones, high calcium. Where are those strips? But yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how that kind of shakes out too. I mean, I'm not confident about any of like our predictions when it comes to pikeheads, which by the way, we saw some at that last frame or the second frame before last.
It was a very quick, very quick.
4, I think. Yeah, I think it was 4 heads on pikes already. I don't think it's any of the cast.
That's when they're dragging Henry. They like have him. Someone has him like grabbed up, and she's approaching him. I think.
Yeah,
they're not anyone from our groups, is it?
I don't think so. It's the backs of their heads. So
okay. Okay.
But how brilliant!
I mean, if you go according to the comic, but who knows?
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, what I find brilliant about that tactic is just it shakes any confidence that you may or may not have about your predictions, because I think everybody's kind of started to make lists. By the way, if no Sanctuary is on there, your list is ridiculous of how many people are gonna. Basically, no Sanctuary just basically spared about 3 people in the Walking Dead universe. Like, I think he went into like Fear the Walking Dead people that are going to be on pikes. That's how many were on this list, like 20 people. Now, I'm not deriding him. I admire his gusto, but that's not the kind of gusto you want. Part down, buddy. Part down.
I mean, look, I've been dying. I've been dying for people to die.
You're brutal, by the way.
I mean, not for nothing,
Not for nothing, Carol. Sorry.
Oh yeah, see,
it's a running gag.
No, I say that like I'm a New Yorker, but I've only been in Miami for almost 3 years, and there are certain terms that I say down here that people don't get, and when I say not for nothing, I'm like, I know that's by New York.
That's a New York thing, basically.
That's a New Yorker thing.
Yeah, it's just
sorry,
not for nothing.
Yeah,
not for nothing.
Yeah, people need to start dying. Like the Negan War was a complete letdown.
That was.
And if they don't do this fight with the Whisperers justice, I'm gonna be really disappointed to the point where like I'll just watch it when the season's over. Like, you're
watching.
I agree. I mean, I think the Negan War, it was a missed opportunity.
It took forever.
It took
they
forever.
Drug it out.
Hey, that's really my only complaint.
But I also feel like they didn't employ the kind of tactic that like I think they're doing better about now. And I think Game of Thrones is better about doing this sort of thing, where even though you may have a lot of different characters and storylines going on, like you don't have like a bottle episode where we're just going to focus on these 2 characters. I'm like, no, I don't want to wait 3 weeks before I see what's going on with Daryl or what's going on with Michonne. It's like, I need a little bit of everything in an episode so I know what's going on.
So that's actually a good segue, by the way, because what I've been noticing that in the last several episodes, they concentrate on only 3 settings per episode, with a bunch of people in each set. Well, usually a bunch of people and then maybe 2 in another. And then they'll have like a pre-setting and then a post-setting, like aftermath montage kind of thing, where they sequence through all these different settings. But the formula has been like 3. Keep it simple, 3, 3, 3. And
I think they've been more successful this season with that.
And by the way, Game of Thrones is way worse at tracking all the characters. Like you thought all that war was bad. I mean, how many people are caught up on Game of Thrones of you guys? Okay, so me too. But yeah, I mean, you noticed that in the last 2 seasons, it's just not disastrous. I mean, they give a good amount of story per, people or couple of people, but like you have to like wait 3 episodes to find out what happened to Tyrion 3 episodes back, let's say, or something like that. Right. It's
I think they just transition it better.
Yeah.
During the show, like for the Walking Dead, I feel it's very choppy. So, but yeah, I think that Game of Thrones just transitions it better. It's smoother and it's easier to follow. There's times where I'm watching The Walking Dead, I'm like, what the fuck just happened?
Well, there's also the time quotient too, because in Game of Thrones, right. Game of Thrones is way longer. There are no commercials, and it goes straight
right.
through.
Yeah. No, exactly.
And AMC, I mean, I don't know about AMC, but I know The Walking Dead's been they've been having these 50-minute longer episodes because there's just so much show that people want. Yeah. So I mean, I don't know what they're gonna do, but I mean, the commercials just killing me.
It's a lot of commercials.
Yeah.
So many commercials.
It's every 5 minutes. Every 5 minutes, there's 5 minutes of commercials.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and that's the worst part. I wouldn't mind it if we had just enough show between the commercials. I'll be like, okay, I got to pee anyway, so yeah, go ahead. Not bad, but yeah.
I think, though, I mean, in terms of like the difference between now and seasons before, I definitely feel like at least I hope so. I think that they are going to deliver more on this sort of like whisper arc, and just even like from the first episode this season. I mean, I read the comics, so it's like I kind of knew the whole Maggie and Gregory, situation that happens. And I remember watching it and being like, oh man, I think Gregory's getting hung like tonight. I think this might really happen. And it was like out of the gate, I was like, wow, okay, all right. It wasn't something that we dragged out like, oh, this is going to happen. Oh, maybe this is going to happen soon. It was like, nope, this is happening right now. And so I think they learned from like previous seasons, and they're not gonna drag it out too long. At least I hope.
They're not gonna dawdle. Oh, hey, Carol, there's a button on the top left of your screen. Can you turn on original sound?
Original sound. Okay.
Yeah. It's like on the top left if you hover over it with your mouse. Because the volume modulates from like low to high.
Oh, good. I thought that was just me.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you guys are okay. Because what that does is basically because occasionally if the program feels that your voice is too low, it'll boost it up. But then there are 3 other voices, so sometimes whatever reason her voice will go like really down.
Oh, okay.
You said it's the top left?
Yeah, top left of the Zoom window. So it should be like a little lock. Oh, maybe you don't even have that option.
Yeah, no, I see it. I see the little lock.
Yeah. So just I guess turn on original sound. I'll edit this out because that's what I do. That's my life.
So are there like people talking, like asking questions or anything like that right now?
Yeah, that's actually a good idea. Henry has a death wish, Karen Elaine says.
You've been ignoring the chat the whole time.
I've been trying to look, mostly people are just reacting, and I think it's great. Like Nisa saying, kill Ezekiel instead of Henry. Yeah. Ezekiel's days are definitely numbered, Walani says. Carol would be heartbroken.
Walani.
Was that?
No, I said Walani.
Yeah, exactly. She's fucking the best. The best. You got the best people. Sorry. Carol will be heartbroken as the boys die. Ooh. Yeah. So some people, and this was Kara Hope. Yeah. It's like, I know, but I want them to die. Nisa's like, I thought you were a savage, Chris. Like Nisa's like the ultimate savage. I don't know. It's like a competition between Nisa and Walking Dead base, Dead Man Talking. Yeah, they're the most savage, I think, in the game.
Mateo's awesome.
Mateo's
I love that guy.
This guy, yeah, he like the warmest guy in the world, but he's just so savage when it comes to
it's true though. You've been dangling and dragging certain characters along for such a long time now. And
by the way, to your point, yeah. But you can feel it coming too. You can feel that this show, and I think it's on purpose. Like it's like they go one episode longer without anybody dying. Go another episode longer without nobody dying.
Well, and I don't want to like spoil anybody's, day or anything like that. But like, they keep talking about this carnival and everything.
Yeah, the fair.
And a lot of people, the fair, and a lot of people have no idea.
I don't. I truly don't. And I don't want to know.
Oh, you don't want to know?
I don't want to know.
It's going to be amazing. It's going to be
amazing. Yeah.
Chris.
The only thing I want to know is this the fair? Is it just to bring the communities together and sign that?
Absolutely.
That's the idea.
And is it just stop? I don't want to know anything. Is it all King Ezekiel's idea?
In the comics, you mean, right?
I don't know. I'm saying in the show. Is it all King Ezekiel's idea?
Oh,
is it all him?
It seems to be like it's a joint venture.
Okay, and where's the fair going to be located?
Oh, in the kingdom, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because of the movie theaters in the kingdom too.
Isn't it a little rundown?
I think that's kind of the point too. It just gives them an excuse.
Is this a fire festival?
Yeah, well, that's Carol.
For those who didn't hear it, is that the fire festival?
Oh my God!
Of the zombie apocalypse.
Oh, that's what we're gonna call it from now on.
That about the kingdom being a little run down. She said, shouldn't we? What about basically contingency plans? What other communities can we go to? Because the kingdom's kind of it's a little thin right now.
I do have a question. In the beginning of the episode last week, when Jesus comes up to Jerry and King Ezekiel and Carol, he says something. Everyone's been sick. What do you think that means?
Oh, damn it! I didn't write detailed notes. Yeah,
he said because they're getting medicine from them, and they said everyone's been sick. What is that? What do you think that means?
Right. It sounds like people were sick.
Or is it just like a flu? Like it?
I mean, it's pretty vague. I don't know.
It was pretty vague. I know. I just didn't know what that meant. I didn't know if it meant something or.
Well,
like bags of IVs and medication.
Right. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah. I mean, this
is just another prison thing, like how they were all sick in the prison. Like I wonder.
Swine flu.
Well, this could have something to do with some of the things that we've been saying about quote unquote the riders. It could have a lot to do with what Michonne and Daryl had to do. Right. That dark pact that they made. So that's good. No, I'll latch onto that for when we start seeing more clues. Which in some respects, like Henry tries to bring up at the end of the episode too. Right. And Daryl kind of just shuts that shit down.
You don't know.
Yeah.
No, you don't.
You don't know.
I think that's the most exciting thing. Besides looking forward to the fair and everything like that, the storyline between Michonne and Daryl's scars.
Yeah. I think it's all
I heard that's very dark. Yeah. I heard that's very dark.
I want to say one thing though about the fair and both the pact, and that's all of these little reveals, and then also, this kind of ties in with some of the bigger things that I think will mean that things are definitely not going to turn out the way that they do in the comics. In some respects, I think they will, but I'm starting to see that maybe the fair is not going to turn out the way the way it does in the comics. I think they're going to bring a new challenger other than the Whisperers, by the way, and I think it's a lot of that's going to have to do with the symbol. A lot of that's going to have to do with my theory about the riders.
Where's Oceanside?
Exactly. And where's Ocean? Who's Deanna?
See, I think a lot of the disconnect with Maggie and Michonne has something to do with Oceanside.
Yeah,
I agree. The thing is, wait a second. Can you hear me? Like, how do I sound?
You sound great. You can turn it up
wonderful.
Even too. Turn the knob if you want to. A little bit up.
Up. How's that better?
Perfect.
Okay. No, I've been saying this for some time when it comes to like Oceanside or even the sanctuary, because even when Negan goes to the sanctuary on his little like side mission, the sanctuary is decimated. It is gone. It is waterlogged. It is gone. We have no signs of Oceanside. And when Rick, died, I mean, that was when we had that skirmish between saviors and.
I know a lot of that we don't even know what went down.
We don't even know what happened after that, because then we jumped 6 years. So we have no clue what transpired in the midst of that. And I feel like that has to be a part of it.
Yeah, maybe the scars have something to do with that situation. I mean, you know, there's one located on the lower back, one on a shoulder, something like that.
The shoulder ones, I think, are from being abused.
Correct. We saw that in prior episodes.
Yeah, they're from
Daryl.
being when he was abused.
Yeah, it's just the ones in the lower left, kidney.
Yeah, and a lot of people were thinking like, what? Yeah, did they have to donate a kidney or something like that?
Everyone's pretty sick, so
it's not quite the incision that you'd make.
But it's for me, like I mean, I get all sorts of crazy ideas sometimes when it comes to that. But sometimes I think, I think about like, okay, unless I see a body, they're not really dead in the Walking Dead universe. So Sherry to me is still a wild card that's still out there. And there is some precedent in the comic for Sherry's return. So I wonder if Sherry might have come back, if they might have trusted her and they got burned, literally
branded.
Because of the sanctuary, remember, they had the iron and they had the fire where they were able to like heat up the iron where Negan, punished people. So there is a precedent already in the sanctuary that they're used to maiming people. Yeah. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that they branded them for whatever reason. I don't know.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I'm still tying the branding with the riders. I think I really have a feeling that another enemy from which, by the way, will be in the flashback and I think will be in the present during the fair or something like that. I think something's going to happen there. I think the reasoning, the main focal point for my reasoning is that we need to see the Whisperers last longer. In fact, I mean, I'm concerned that because as Carol said on the show last time, is that in the comics, the Whisperers story arc is not very long.
But I think that they are definitely going to deviate a little bit from it to kind of elongate it a little bit more. Just in the same way that, for example, like Abraham in the comic did not die the death that a character like him
but he did end up dying. Yeah.
Yeah. But they did end up killing him, but just in a way that was more fitting for like Sergeant Abraham Ford, like not such a random death the way it was in the comic. Because in the comic, he got Denise's death, was like shot randomly through the arrow so abruptly, and that was it.
Almost exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So to me, from my feeling in the comic, like the demise of Alpha and Beta is sort of, I mean, Alpha's is a little bit more dramatic, but like Beta's is almost kind of like negligible. Like it's almost like, oh, okay.
Like a throwaway, right?
It was kind of like a throwaway.
Don't want to know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Nothing more than that. Nothing more than that.
Nothing more than that. But I just feel like it could have been more impactful.
The point being, though, we want to see them longer, and so in order to do that, you're gonna have to introduce like a whole past story and present story that kind of tie into each other, with the Whisperers like in the middle, like the meat, like a sandwich. I
still think that ham radio that is like in wherever, like that's going to come into play. They're going to make contact with another group, potentially wherever Rick went. I don't know. I think that's.
Oh, you think that's going to happen now?
I have, in my mind, I could almost see this season ending with them making contact on the ham radio and hearing Rick. And here we segue into the movies. And here we segue Michonne going after to try and find Rick, because we know she's leaving.
Yeah.
Well, she's leaving at the end of season 10.
End of 10. Yeah, end of 10, right?
Yeah.
Is it end of 10?
End of 10, not 9. So,
yeah.
So, or at the very worst, end of 10.
Yeah. Anybody have any ideas on what they think that symbol means, by the way?
With the headless man?
Yeah, it's like an A with a T on it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a headless man.
You think that's what it is?
Yeah, I think so. I also think it's the ride. I'm ride or dying on this riders thing. I will go down fighting and swinging based on no evidence. But I think it belongs to this group for sure. Okay. Yeah, and
like some part of me thinks like Carol is so observant and she's not careless, Carol, and that it's a symbol from the people that had been intruders before, and that it had always been there, and it's just kind of like a foreshadowing of what we might see that happened in the past.
Oh, that's an option too.
Yeah,
that's true. And
it might be something new.
And Carol did just destroy those Savior Marauders, Jeb and Regina and all that.
Right.
In that one scene.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like an upgrade from the wolves, or kind of thing.
Right.
Or, I even took it to as far as, I said to Ryan, I said, well, if you look at the symbol, it's basically an A, and it's got the bar that said, does that mean like Alpha's territory kind of thing? Is that like an A when it's, like, what is that?
Right.
So, I don't know. But the Headless Man thing, yeah, I guess that's a good one too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing that's really propelling this for me is the just seeing Angus Sampson in that one shot, like as Angus Sampson's like riding through the fair on his horse, and I went through this a million times before, but that's what makes me think another group is going to be responsible for this. It's going to be a group that's not familiar to the kingdom, but is probably, and this is in my opinion, because when Jerry was looking at Angus Sampson in the rear view as he passes him by. Doesn't look like he recognized him, but he does give him the stink eye. Like, he looks suspicious. But I do think the other communities know about it. Or they don't. And these are just a totally new random group that screws things up, during the fair or something. I just think it's not going to turn out the way. And you use that, and then you talk about Negan and how things are kind of departing there, how Alpha kind of looks different, and acts a little different initially. Just, I'm not very confident about any of my predictions except for the Riders. I'll die on that hill. But I think that's exciting, though. I think it's something to talk about, because when your expectations are subverted, I mean, that's something to be celebrated, because who wants to like predict everything that's going to go on in the show and be right? I mean, it's not entertaining,
Right. Yeah.
You're like feeding your ego can only last so long because I didn't like the show anyway. You need surprise. Right. You need somebody to write something in that's going to be engaging and just something that's going to take you to a place that you never thought the story would go. Yeah. So
yeah, they've done that, and they've done it a few times. The reaction hasn't been too good from the fans, but
right. Yeah.
Fuck the fans.
I always throw the Carl story out there because personally, I was really happy that Carl died.
Wow, I've never heard that from anybody. Carol, what did you think of that? You were like heartbroken. We were like depressed.
No, I wasn't heartbroken. I was surprised. Honestly,
shocked,
to me,
right?
I was shocked.
Right.
I was really sincerely shocked because I knew coming from the comic how huge of a character, how huge of a role he plays. So I was like, oh man, like this kind of throws me for a loop, because now I really don't know what the plan is, down the road. So it kind of threw me for a loop, but I wasn't down. I feel like the only deaths that really got me down was Glenn and Abraham. Like Glenn and Abraham, I was like traumatized for weeks.
Oh my God, yeah, we talked about this.
No, yeah. I was. That was like the one, I think that I would probably say, yeah. I mean, it's probably cliche because, it's Glenn and Abraham, but it was like that. Even when I watched Ride with Norman Reedus and it was the episode with Glenn, it was like a punch in the stomach. I was like,
because they kept bringing stuff up too.
They did.
I'm sorry.
I couldn't. I was waiting for that comic book death. Like that's what you want.
I know.
The show.
Yeah.
I mean, was I sad not to see Glenn anymore? Yeah, of course. I mean, it was Glenn. You know? But at the same time, I was so excited to see a comic book image come to life.
Yeah.
Like when Spencer got gutted and stuff like that.
That was another one.
All those deaths were just like, yes, thank you for giving me what I was waiting for.
Right.
Yeah. No, I knew the Glenn death was coming. It was one of those things that I knew it was coming, but I was like, God, this is gonna suck. This is good. Like I know this is coming, and it's exactly what I'm anticipating. But man.
Yeah. Let me ask you guys a question. Do you think there are more people that watch the show that have read the comic, or do you think there are more more comics readers that watch the show? That's a really good question, because I think that really shapes the way the demographic moves. Like the ratings go.
That could explain why so many people were pissed when Carl died. I mean, because they're all waiting for his story to become what it is in the comics.
Right.
And when it got cut off, the outcry of like, how could you do this? You ruined the comic, you ruined this. Like,
Scott Gimple.
And that everyone wanted to hang the guy. And at the same time, I was like, look, in my eyes, his story arc really just died. Like Carl really was just nothing but a background actor at some points. I was like,
well, by the way, and that's the thing. Like recently, Chandler Riggs even said as much. Like he was saying, like, look, if my acting didn't like pick up anyway, like they would have had to recast me because. And this is like secondhand rumor kind of source, but I mean, it's
an interview with someone saying he felt bad because he wasn't giving what he should have.
Well, what he felt like he could give, yeah.
But
if a character is not going to be utilized to his best potential, and they're just going to become like another a central prop, then it just makes sense. I mean, that's how I felt with the Jesus character. Like I kept waiting for Jesus's character to really take off, and he had such an awesome introduction in his first episode. That episode was awesome. I think it was called Knots Untie or something like that.
Yeah,
and it was awesome, and I kept expecting more. And then it just fizzled out. So it was like, well, you weren't really doing anything. The character was just kind of languishing.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't think that's not Tom Payne's fault. That's the writer's fault.
That's the writing, yeah.
And because think of it, like his character, once again, you go to the comic, is so badass. And they really didn't utilize him or do anything with him on the show. No. And he was generally pissed off about dying, but
yeah, he was.
His character wasn't doing anything.
Yeah.
It makes me think to like when we actually interviewed him and how like we didn't know.
No, and he was being very candid, and I was like, wow.
Why is he being so honest with us? Like he's being very like just hard on his sleeve, real with us right now about everything.
In retrospect, it all made sense.
Like he didn't tell us that he was doing the show, but like it was just obvious. Like, man, he's being real casual with us with his answers right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and little did we know. And he was doing the same thing on panels too, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
He was like bitter about not fighting Negan and
because they had an awesome fight scene in the comic.
Yeah, exactly. And then all those weeks
excited to meet him.
Yeah, like all those weeks training too for him out the window.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Like he literally went through 6 weeks of training, like just to be on the show. It's just amazing. Yeah. So Jerry has kids, by the way. How do you guys feel about that? Little Jerrylings.
I just want to say that portion of the episode, I was like, I'm going to be so pissed if Jerry dies for a light bulb. Jerry dies for a light bulb. Like, I was like, this is not going to be good.
This is actually a good conversation to have because I want to know what everybody thinks about this Cobra Strike mission. I mean, obviously it's cool, but do you guys think that it needed to happen? Like, Ashley, what do you think, Ashley?
I think I liked the lightheartedness of it because it was so serious, back at the hilltop. And I think I liked seeing Carol and Ezekiel kind of be playful with each other. And I like to see Ezekiel just want to bring life, some sort of former life back to the kingdom with the movie. So I liked it. It didn't scare me. I didn't think anybody was going to die. It was fun to watch, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, and Carol, you'd be like, well, Carol, you would have been like what Grumpy Carol would have been like what the hell are we doing here in this movie theater?
Right.
Where art meets reality.
Right. Yeah.
So you think they shouldn't have been there, though, Carol?
I mean, it was definitely one of those kind of but the show has done this before where you go on these sort of missions where you're like, is this really necessary?
And they usually end badly, too.
And they usually end badly. So I really thought we were going to have at least one casualty, even if it was like a red shirt. I was like, somebody, So amazingly, everybody came away unscathed, which was awesome. But yeah, I mean, it was one of those, like, was it really necessary to do this? But I mean, I guess you could say it speaks to the idealism of like Ezekiel and Jerry, that they just have this kind of hopeful optimism in stark contrast to, you know, like the Daryl Michonne mentality, which would not be at all about something like that.
Yeah. Well, what are we doing out in the middle out here? Chris, what do you think?
I think his idea and the reason why he wanted to do it is good. Children that didn't even don't know what movies are, stuff like that, being able to bring some of the old world into the world that they have now and try to, I guess, bring a little bit of normalcy maybe and introduce that to the newer generations. I really like the shirts they had, the Cobra Strike shirts that they
on Talking Dead. I'm gonna get one actually.
But more than I like seeing the resurgence of some characters we haven't seen in a while, like Diane from the Kingdom.
Right.
It's nice seeing Carrie back in action, and stuff, and talking and whatever, and having lines.
Yeah, exactly. It's like
like. We got to see James Chen the week before. It's like, okay, well, Cal's still around, so that's cool.
Marco, by the way, finally showed up. Like he showed up in last episode, I think, but like more lines in this episode too. Again.
Yeah. So I mean, I've liked being able that they've been utilizing more of the cast and things like that.
Yeah.
Because it's like sometimes the speaking lines is just A and B. It's this person. They don't really use, once again, it's like a lack of using your cast. And that's why I feel like if you're going to do that, just start cleaning house.
Right.
Let these people go do something else, You walked around with a bow and arrow. Yeah, you walked around with a bow and arrow for all scene.
Yeah, good job there, buddy. Yeah, it's like... Which it kind of does bring us back to Jesus, because like the one question that we had about him was kind of like, what did you do all those episodes where you just, punched in, punched out, didn't really do anything on screen? He was like, nothing.
Who we haven't seen, and once again, we haven't seen him dead either, is Peter Zimmerman, who
I know.
Right.
I know.
You show Cal, where's Eduardo?
Is he the one that got sick?
Yeah.
In that 6-year time span, what happened to some of these people?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah,
just wrote them off the show. Yeah, I mean, are they gonna show 6 years prior, and there was like a massive influenza that took out, a bunch of people or something? Got to give us something.
They're gonna have to. They have to address it.
They'll go into it. This isn't gonna be like the Dam in Fear the Walking Dead. They're going to get to it somehow. Yeah. I mean, because we're going to, and Johnny Five's Alive is saying Heath.
Yeah, exactly. Where's Heath? we talk about this all the time.
Johnny Five, you just lit a powder keg right now.
I don't think we're going to see Heath. We're not going to see Heath until the Rick movies.
Yeah, I think so too.
He's where Rick is.
Yeah.
Exactly. 100%.
Mm-hmm. Man.
So.
Yep.
Yeah, Mm-hmm.
He was traded off a long time ago.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm wondering, has anybody interviewed the actor, and now because we haven't really talked about him in a while, but yeah.
Corey Hawkins?
Has anybody interviewed him on the possibility of it coming in? We could reach out to him, see what's up.
Well, because he was supposed to do a TV show, another show.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was supposed to be yeah.
And it ended up not doing well, so it's like,
Right.
Yeah, it looks like you guys have some work to do because we don't do interviews.
What the hell?
Yeah, I'm just giving you work.
You just told me you talked to Tom Payne.
That was a fluke. It'll never happen again. Really, when people see the footage, it'll never happen again. It's such a shame. She did so well. Oh, swan song. Anyway, yeah. And who doesn't like Ed Harris's It's All Right Now? I mean, come on, man. 2 times in that episode, that song came back on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cobra Strike mix.
Cobra Strike.
Sometimes the things that they do in the show, just in terms of like mood creating, and then just adding on that extra thick layer of music, just enhances that so much.
Yeah, definitely.
Where are we in the stream right now? An hour and 60. Damn, we're making some great goddamn headway in only a short period of time. Does anybody have to leave soon? Like Ashley, I know
I do.
Yeah, okay.
I do. Yeah.
So we'll bring up maybe one thing to kind of end you off on a good note. Because I want, maybe I'll do this now since we're like nestled into what may be just the latter half of the show. I'm going to read, and this is kind of like the big reveal of the thing that nobody's actually revealed, and that's the multi-community charter of rights and freedoms that we see given to Ezekiel at the beginning of the episode. What some people may or may not have tried to do, I did it, was I blew it up on one of the big screens that I'm looking at right now, and I actually managed to get articles 1, 2, 3, and 4, as well as article 8. I have a couple of words missing, but I've pretty much got it down. I will put it, I'm not going to put it in the episode description. I'm going to put the whatever I have on the blog, because it's just too long for an episode description, but I will read it out right now. But it's the preamble starts with, any person who would live in peace and fairness, and I think most of you have probably read this by now, who would find common ground, this world is yours by right. We stand together for life, not death, in this new world. Together we make this world bigger. The future is ours as we hold on to our faith in one another with everything we have. Consecrate our bond. Ooh. We establish this community charter of rights and freedoms. It gets, like, this is really, I feel like I should just plaster this on the screen so that people can read this, but it's like, it's just so like Constitution, but like with quotes from Rick.
Like, I was going to say, I just hear Rick reading
Exactly.
it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, this shouldn't, like, the first 3 articles are pretty quick reads. Article 1 is, we survive the end of the world. We are bounded together by the fellowship of the loving. Because we know what happens to the dead. We believe we have the right to live as long as we can. We believe in the same for our loved ones, and any person who cares to find us. We share the bond of blah, 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 blah with all those who would blah us in peace and fairness. I couldn't read some of those words. Article 2 is, the days of fury are over. We believe every loving person deserves to be treated fairly as a person. This means no torture, no mistreatment. Solitary confinement is prescribed as the ultimate justice. Negan.
Right.
Yeah.
Article 3, the world is ours again. The old ways are gone. We live with and love people who are different. We believe different things and have different backgrounds, and we celebrate them. We agree that no one can be forced to change to make their neighbor comfortable. We are a community of equals. It's pretty balanced. 4 and 8 are a little longer, so I'll just take a break there. But what do you guys think of all that?
I love it.
Yeah.
Like the punishment, no torture. Like that line actually like really jumped out at me. The idea of, let me see, this means no torture, no mistreatment. Solitary confinement is prescribed as the ultimate justice. That jumped out at me big time because of like some of the things that we're talking about with Michonne and Daryl. Negan, obviously, the ultimate punishment. But yeah, I mean, what do you guys think about that? Is that sustainable?
Is there a thou shalt not name their child Coral?
It's actually maybe one of the words I can't read.
Thou shalt not name their kid Coral.
By the way, what do you get? And I'm such a dad joker when it comes to this. What do you get when you ship Connie and Daryl?
There you go.
Coral.
It's good.
God.
I'm happy you got that out of your system.
Yeah, exactly.
I was like ever since you talked about that in the beginning, I was just like,
You're like, I can't wait to get to it.
I'll just leave it there. No, I won't do it. No, well, why not? You brought it up. Article.
I think it's sustainable what they're trying to achieve.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think they're just trying to get back to normal society.
Right, and wait till you get to Article 8 though too. I mean, some of this stuff is like not in the weeds, but it's pretty cool. Article 4, I have maybe one missing word, but it's we survived. But this is about more than survival to the world we are consecrating. Everyone has the right to think for themselves, the right to speak and be heard. I love this article. There will be disagreements, but we will not allow them to become violent. We respect each other and life too much for that. We welcome others who join us in this belief. It is self-evident to us that no one has a monopoly on truth or justice. We have seen what happens to those who think that way. We've seen what they do to others. There is a there is a for that now. Any person who joins us must accept our belief in human dignity. We strive for unity, but accept differences. Everyone has a right to leave and risk. I love this line. Everyone has the right to leave and risk life on the road, but our communities reserve the right to decide who our members are. Any person of good conscience that leaves one community may petition to join another. Together, we are building a better world. I love that fucking line. Like they go like into the weeds about like leaving certain communities, and you see in the beginning of the episode that like Tara says, "Sayonara, Alexandria, I'm on the hilltop."
Right.
Yeah, right from the jump, because she stole too many. Who stole so much medicine? Was it? No, it was like the kingdom was giving medicine to Alexandria, and I think Jesus was bringing some too from Hilltop. I forget how that worked. Why did she have to jump ship? Because of the stuff that went down with Maggie?
Can't remember.
I know it's in my notes.
Did she jump ship, or was it just she just ended up being supplanted there?
Yeah.
Because I think she just ended up kind of being just supplanted there and like staying.
Yeah, she mentioned something. I'm not sure exactly. But I will say one thing is that Tara brings the charter because whatever timeline this is in the past flashback, it seems to me that it happened after whatever happened, because Michonne's all but abandoned the charter.
Right.
So whatever consequence from that dark period, it was I would say even maybe halfway into the 6-year jump, because Carol's hair is kind of
run out.
Much longer. Yeah.
Listening to you read that too, I'm sitting here like it sounds like that portion was written by a woman. Like, I honestly like, and now that you say
tell.
No, it's just the way it's worded, and like the meanings behind everything. The first 3 are very like they're pretty basic. Right. The 4th one gets very detailed.
Yeah. Right.
And that's what women are. They're very detailed. The ones that I know. So
tell us more about us, Chris.
It just seems like maybe, and now that you mentioned Tara and her situation, I feel like that part 4 was written by people who had been involved in situations like that.
Right. Like the Sanctuary, particularly. That's what was going on in my mind. Like and some of the Sanctuary did hop on over, I think, if I'm not mistaken, to other communities. Laura, right?
Yeah, Laura. She was on the like tribunal when the Magna and the new group,
as well as DJ. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and she was still writing. No, she was writing the charter when Rick was still around.
Yeah, when Rick was still
6 years later.
She was working on it.
Yeah. So we only have one more left. So, and this one, and 4 was kind of like the longer one. And this one has a bit missing, but we'll make it up. Article 8, and that's the only one you can really see before the end part. But bound by a common trust, life, and our humanity, we are making the world new. Are making the world big. We are making the world bigger by collaborating and cooperating. We are helping one another and defending one another so that we can be safe. But this charter is not a suicide pact. No community can be forced to sacrifice supplies or people needed for self-preservation to save another. So no community can sacrifice themselves to save another community. War will never be declared. This is pretty cool. War will never be declared without joint agreement of all. Each community may opt out if they are so able. If war comes, or some other emergency threatens our joint or individual survival as communities, the above rights and freedoms can be suspended by a community's elected or appointed leadership until the danger has passed. This determination rests with the leadership whose sacred trust is the lives and welfare of us all. How cool is that?
Yeah.
Declarations of war. Yeah, and that's the last article before the end, which is created under the unanimous agreement of all communities in this new world with hope for our future and confidence that together we are stronger. Together we survive and together we thrive. We construct, yeah, I know, why'd they rhyme that? We construct this binding peace, not just for ourselves, but for the future generations who have a right to this world. Under one common accord, we sign our names below. Alexandria Kingdom, Oceanside Sanctuary. Boom.
Yeah.
How about that?
It's weird to see the sanctuary on there.
Yeah, and you didn't see them at first.
Yeah.
No, I think that was purposely done. It's like, and then all of a sudden they pan over and it's like, oh, Sanctuary and Oceanside, conveniently on the side.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about that?
And that's another, like, even some of the people from Sanctuary we haven't seen.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, you know, a lot of the Negan defectors and stuff like that, and some of the people who said that they were staying and transitioned over, you know, you still haven't seen a lot of them.
Yeah.
Well, we haven't seen Alexandria really much at all, actually, when you think about it. All we saw was Judith and Negan.
Yeah.
For the most part. And then DJ and somebody else. I don't think
they haven't shown Grace yet. Gracie, right? They haven't shown her yet, right?
She's like running towards Aaron.
Just very briefly. Yeah.
In the first episode, as they come, it says,
that was 6. Her running?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Daddy! Gracie, get inside. It's like, get away.
Yeah.
We should all talk to our kids like that. Not now. I have a metal arm. Oh, no, he didn't have it yet, did he? Oh, no, he did, actually.
No, he did.
Yeah.
Hey, so what did you guys think of that?
I liked it.
That?
That's pretty boss.
His what's it, Winter Soldier arm, that we call it?
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, they could have done that with Rick and kept it to the comic book.
Yeah.
No, but now they made Aaron the new Rick. It's just like,
Well, Kirkman, I mean,
kill him.
We saw it too. Like Kirkman just beat him with his own arm. Just like, no, I mean, Kirkman was even saying how like much he regretted chopping off Rick's arm right from the beginning. Like, hold on, like maybe backtrack, you know.
I guess it would be great to go to the movies and then see him with an arm missing, though. That'd be cool.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Why stop there?
First time we see him, he's got his arm missing. Be like, oh shit, what happened?
Yeah.
Why are
it happened in an explosion?
Why are Rick's arms and feet missing? It looks like a turkey dinner. It's like little stumps.
Peg leg Pete.
Oh boy, that would be funny. Oh, and then one eye too. Sure, why not? Let's go whole hog on this one. Oh, look like Carl.
Oh no.
Oh man.
You hear the Carl lovers crying.
Shut up, Dave.
That dude Chris is an idiot. Whatever happened back?
No,
They're making fun of Coral.
I appreciate this so much. I mean, I'll say I don't think I've said it out loud. I just love when the comics readers' expectations get subverted. It's just I get this glee in my tummy, and it just doesn't go away. I put like little devil, smiley devil emojis in my profile, and it's just I just had a good day. Not like I want them to cry or anything. Well, maybe that would be nice. I don't know.
Yeah, but we're
I'll have to
gonna
think
have
about that
Daryl around for like ever, so Daryl's not going anywhere.
That's so.
Daryl's not going anywhere.
He's not going anywhere.
No.
No.
He's the stable boy.
He makes AMC too much money.
Yeah, seriously. Like, no.
Oh, they pay him adequately. Like when we found out like how much he's making. I mean, even over a lot of other longtime actors, it's kind of amazing, and rightly so, right? I mean, ugh.
Right.
Yeah.
And what are you gonna do? I mean,
Well, Denai's got nothing to worry about. She's got she's got Marvel, she's got everything. So
yeah, she's good too.
yeah.
She's on Broadway. She's doing everything.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man.
So.
Oh yeah, that's right. She has theater too.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I think we're just. I mean, honestly, I think we're almost kind of through, really. I mean, we have. Oh well, guys, we missed one crucial thing that we didn't go through, and I had mixed feelings about this, but I mostly erred on the side of good. Was Enid's monologue to Henry about that special person in her life? Yeah, that gave her a letter. Any thoughts off the cuff?
Coral.
Just get it out. Got to keep going. Just got purged.
It was nice to hear what was in someone else's letters. He wrote, he wrote quite a few, and we didn't, we only really saw 2 of them. So it was nice to hear what he wrote to somebody else.
Yeah. Oh, did we even see?
Negan and Rick's.
Yeah, we saw Rick's, right, and that one kind of got me.
Michonne's too, right? Didn't we see Michonne's?
I don't think so.
I don't know if she. I don't know if we saw it, but she definitely read it a few times on screen.
I did, but she read Negan's to Negan over walkie-talkie.
Right. That's right. Okay.
Yeah. By the way, Wilani forgives you for all the Carl. The Carl hate. I figured that was important. She knows it's all love.
She knows it's all love.
Yeah, I just thought. Yeah, I mean, it was a very touching moment, and the reason why I have mixed feelings about it is I just felt like. Did you get the feeling that was a little too shoehorned into the situation? Like, you could have just said, "Alden will die. Stop being a dumbass." Lydia goes back. You didn't have to go into this plea to go into Carl and everything. I just thought it was. I thought it was a little too
drama.
Much. Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
So wow, okay. I thought it was alone because I felt a little bit bad bringing this up because I was like, I mean, I thought it was really impactful. I thought it was really great to see the letter like you guys did, but like something just didn't feel right. It just didn't feel right.
They got to find a way to give her, because they've been talking up how much of a role she's going to have this season.
Enid?
I feel like, like how she's going to, I heard how she's going to be like stepping up and she's going to be doing all this stuff, whatever. I feel like they're just trying to give her little ins here and there.
Right.
Like the doctor thing, this monologue.
Yeah, right. Some screen time stuff here and there. So,
Oh, man. I don't know what to expect from her, really, though. I mean, she's not in the comic, though, is she? Not at all. No. She's kind of like a Sophia shadow, right? In a sense? Or she was supposed to be for Carl?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of. The ages are all messed up,
Yeah, exactly.
So.
Well, Ronald Reagan. Yeah, I'm kind of amazed that we covered so much ground, like with all the tangenting that we managed to do. I was going to
say, did we cover any ground?
Not according to my notes, but don't trust my notes. Like I think, like I'm just meticulous note taker, and I'm trying to do less of that.
Here's the ground we were supposed to cover, and we went all the way over.
Well, I'm still scrolling right now. I'm scrolling up, actually. There is the aftermath. You do see Tam and Earl Sutton with the new baby. I think we mentioned that briefly. This, by the way, this does give him kind of a renewed vigor because early in the episode you see him with like arthritis. He's kind of depressed because Alden's gone and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
But, I mean, this is kind of like bringing you up to kind of... It's possible that bringing you up to kind of bring you down later when things might go down.
I totally got that feel. I was like, look at everybody looking so happy.
Right, in this moment.
This is all going to be torn apart.
Yeah.
And kind of because of Henry. I'm starting to, I mean, there are parallels and all that stuff.
Yeah.
This is a good question. Do you think the Whisperers would have left Hilltop alone had Henry not intervened?
What, in terms of chasing after Lydia, like afterwards?
Yeah, like if he would have just left Lydia alone and not gone after her. Do you think the Whisperers would have bothered them anymore?
No.
I don't think so. I don't think they would have, because they're about this is our territory and you handle yours, we handle ours, and don't trespass on our property, essentially. and Henry can't leave well enough alone because he feels like he needs to save Lydia, which is just probably going to cause a lot of mayhem.
Yeah. I mean, she's clearly distressed too.
Right.
You know, or like she's trying to reconcile the feelings her mother may or may not have towards her, the feelings that she has towards her mother, and then the truth, you know, about how the world is.
Here's a question. When Lydia, and this is more last week's episode, not this Sunday, but like when Henry takes Lydia out of the cell to kind of give her a tour of Hilltop, somebody's outside holding a baby crying, and that completely tears her apart to the point that she says, "Take me back to my cell."
Right. We talked about this last week, right?
Why do you think that triggered something in her? Because I'm still not completely sure.
Because they leave babies in cornfields.
That's exactly. No, it really made me.
That baby's gonna die.
Yeah, I'm like, does this happen like often? Like, are they like, you know, God only knows. It's like they have a baby, and it's like, oh well, collateral damage. Leave them out as a distraction for the walkers or something. God, no.
Yeah, it was definitely some sort of like PTSD she had because I mean that was immediate stress and she crumbled.
Well, I like what you said last week though, Carol. It blew my goddamn mind. Like it just never occurred to me that this was possible though.
Oh yeah.
With the do you recant it or not? Because I could.
No, well, I mean, with the cornfield incident, like I'm starting to wonder if that's it. But I don't want to do any spoilers. That's the thing. Like,
well, is what you said in the comic? No, right?
No, but just the nature of the Whisperers and their attitude towards sex in general.
Their attitude towards sex, which you've brought up several times on the podcast.
Yeah.
But I mean, man, it is tough, huh?
What do you mean?
Well, they're animals, and animals will do things to one another that they don't want. Cue awkward sound.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
basically,
like she said, survival of the fittest.
Right. And in my mind, I wonder, at the time before this episode, like now I think, okay, well, maybe they've had instances where other Whisperers have babies and they're left as collateral damage. And that's why she's so traumatized by the sound of a baby crying because, you know, she's seen some horrible things in that respect. But then I was like, well, could she have like been attacked by a member of her own Whisperer group and she could have had a baby at one point? Like, I don't know. Like, who knows, you know? Like, I mean, she's old enough that it could have been an option. And they seem, and obviously they are having children. It's happening, but I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, the main observation being like the thing that it blew my mind, and the only reason why Carol's observation made so much sense was because we did see the sneak peeks for the next week, which is what we just covered from the week before, and we saw that baby in the cornfield. You know, we saw that there was one. Oh, it was on AMC.com that we saw that sneak peek. And so your theory actually made more sense to me because, you know, why would a crying baby send her into the loop, make her go back to the cell, right? And then we saw the sneak peek of the baby in the cornfield, the Whisperer baby. And I was like, this makes so much more sense because, I mean, they have babies. They clearly, you know, walk around. The baby cries every now and again, so it wouldn't send her into a loop. But, you know, maybe that experience is singularly... But a baby in a nurtured environment where, you know, it's taken care of, it has medical, it doesn't have to be left in a cornfield if it starts crying, right? Because they have indoors, they have pens.
Right.
So, yeah. Rough stuff.
Yeah, so you guys went real deep. I was just trying to figure out if she was more pissed off or the fact that she was with the Whisperers again and her mom gave her an apple when she just let the community had a ton of food.
In that AMC.com sneak.
She took that apple. She was like, what the hell? An apple?
I was getting used to eggs.
Yeah, she's pissed.
They're making me omelets.
Like, forget this.
I had sorghum pancakes. What?
Yeah.
This is bullshit. I didn't eat those pancakes.
It's a lot of babies right now in like this half of the season. Don't forget Rosita's expecting.
Oh, she got a bun in the oven.
Whose is it?
Sadiq, you are the father.
Yeah, he definitely is.
Yeah, he is.
Definitely is. And poor crippled Eugene laying there in bed or overheard it.
Ugh. Yeah.
No sanctuary.
Another one that I just can't wait for him to die.
That'll probably be the irony too, though. He won't.
I thought he was going to die when the whole leg thing happened. I'm like, thankful.
How will it go down? How will it go down?
Yeah.
No, still alive. Still alive.
Still there.
Drat.
The one guy with no testicular fortitude still alive.
Right.
But I feel like that's how it happens. I mean, it's the same thing with Tara. Like, how is Tara still like around? Tara is not the most martial of characters, but yet here she is.
Yeah.
She's
found her place, though. It sounds like I'm starting to kind of buy into that more.
Yeah.
Yeah, as a leader, we kind of went through that though.
I'm waiting for more letters to show up. Start arriving from. Oh my God, I can't even say her name because I haven't seen her in forever.
Oh, from Maggie or Georgie?
Oh, Georgie. Yeah.
Georgie, yeah.
Yeah.
And Maggie. Yeah, and Maggie too. But yeah, no letters have shown up. I mean, I know Jesus was reading them whenever he'd get them.
That is odd though, isn't it? Like how the show wouldn't have that sort of continuity. But like if Georgie's willing to message her or mail her or however they deliver their communiques, why doesn't Maggie do the same? Or do they? Right. Oh, actually, no. We did see Jesus rereading letters from Maggie.
Yes.
In Georgie's community. So we did see that.
Yes.
It's been a while, though. It's been a while.
That's the real question. How long has it been? Like 30 days? It was like a month before until he just kept rereading the last one or something.
Right.
Well, I mean, it's probably a good time to really kind of talk about really quickly like how you think the layout's going to be of these shows, because the chronology I'm thinking is that, this season's going to end. I don't know when they're going to introduce this, but it seems to me that they would do this probably over season 10 break, the mid-season break, is they do that mini series with Maggie midway into season, and then they'll get to the movies probably in between the Walking Dead season 10 finale, and then there'll be a gap so they can show the movie before Fear the Walking Dead season 6, if that's even possible. So what are your thoughts on that? Like, do you have any ideas of how this is going to lay out?
Honestly, no. It'll never happen the way I think it's gonna, but
too early to tell. Back to you. So,
I mean, I'm thinking they're gonna have to bring the New World Order in at some point.
For sure.
However they do that or when they do that, end of season 10, maybe they'll bring them in. I'm not sure. Who knows how long they're gonna drag this out? That's what I'm waiting to find out, is how long.
Years.
Oh, another decade. You're talking about the show itself?
It's really funny because, real quick, like the Negan War, it dragged on forever. But in reality, they tell you that if you count the amount of times in each episode when you see the sun rise and sunset, it equals 1 week.
Yeah, literally. All
that was the longest week in my life.
Yeah.
I'm like, this thing's gone on for a year. What is going on? Right now?
Carl got a beard and shaved it. It was awkward.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I don't know. I really don't know. It's really hard to tell where they're going to take the show. I mean, look, for some reason I've been talking to a lot of people about Princess, like who's going to play her. Like, this is a comic book character. I don't know anything about it.
Oh, you don't know anything about Princess?
I don't know anything about Princess. Nothing. But I have seen like the cover. Sorry?
Who knows if they even bring her as Princess? There might be somebody else.
Sure.
Or like an existing actor.
Who knows? Something, yeah. Who knows?
I mean, they have to have something in the can to warrant saying, like, okay, this is a huge franchise.
Yeah.
This is your world's going to get even bigger.
I think season 12, the end of season 12, I think they're going to call it quits around 12.
I think so. I don't think that you can extend it farther than that. I mean, even season 12, I think I can't see it beyond that. That's already quite a ways. We're in season 9 right now. I could see, we're going to get to the what's going to kick off this whole Whisper conflict by the end of this season. I could see, based on the pace of how they're doing things now, I don't think that they're going to necessarily take up all of season 10 with the Whisper of Conflict. I think that they might kind of like be done with it at some point before season 10 is over, and then start introducing the New World Order at some point.
Yeah. Right.
I think they bring it to a point where you see how large that it actually is as far as the community's widespread, and whatever, because the NWO is like the biggest community to date,
right.
Around 50,000 plus people, according to the comic. But, I think after that is when they really break away, and they'll give you the movies to give you more storyline.
I think so.
Between maybe 11 and 12, but I think by the end of season 12, it's going to be over with.
Yeah.
Mm.
So
yeah, so it's 2 more years of movie and a side series, but yeah, it's really hard to tell.
Talked about a bunch of character-based shows that they might do spin-offs.
Right.
So we'll see.
I hope it's nothing like Overkill's The Walking Dead, which was officially killed today, by the way.
Yeah, I saw that.
Awkward.
What happened?
Oh, so Overkill's The Walking Dead. It's a video game, and it looked really good. Right. Okay. So we both went to the cons. We both saw the booths. And all of us went to Walker Stalker. Mm-hmm. We saw the booths. They looked pretty damn rad. The demo footage looked rad. We used it as, just so some people know, some people may not know, is that we had it in our week 6 giveaway, I think it was, and as our video game giveaway. And midway through the week, they pulled the pre-orders for the consoles, Xbox and PS4, and I was just like, okay, I can't just give this game away on Steam. I think most of the people that are like listening are console players or whatever. So that sent me to a tailspin, and then I just read a couple. I think Carol was with me when we read the news about. No, I don't think you were. I was on a solo show, and I was talking about how, like, a developer kind of leaked how this game is like a polished turd, like. They had to literally rebuild the game from scratch using a whole other graphics platform. So, and this was like a year after they had fully developed the game. There's too many bugs, so they literally had to redo it and open. I forgot what it's called. Oh, come on, dude. Okay, never mind. It doesn't matter. A more commonly used graphics engine.
Right.
Fast forward to like now. Okay, after the pre-order pull, they realized that the sales were so low, development was lacking. They kept hemorrhaging employees. The original creators of the game aren't even part of the current team, the current company. Yeah. So yeah, they just called it quits. I forgot the exact reason though. It was it was basically DOA. The sales were just terrible. Like, because it was also kind of like the Telltale's The Walking Dead. It came out in episodes. Right. And they were only like midway into season 2.
Yeah. It was like character based. They introduced you to a character and whatever.
Well, it was more character POV, like a shoot 'em up, basically.
Right.
Yeah.
It looked really good. Too bad.
Great. And the story even sounded pretty good, Yeah,
like the drunk grandfather in the car. That was a good one.
Exactly. And the promo materials were killer. But I'm glad, like, midway, just a segment, like midway into that week, we quickly switched to giving away the Telltale game. We gave people a choice of between the original collection of seasons 1 and 2 or the full season 3, because some people might have one or the other. So we pulled that out of our ass. It's just amazing. But yeah. Oh, and we talked about this pre-show, but Simon Ogg is now on The Tick, the Amazon Prime series.
Stephen Ogg?
Stephen Ogg, sorry, thank you. My bad. Simon Ogg, why not? Sue me.
Simon,
I like it.
I gotta tell you, I mean, I knew that he was, obviously it was like, okay, this guy's gonna die, but man, Simon's character, that was such an awesome character.
Yeah. I'm so glad we get to still see him, like we see him on Westworld every now and again.
Sure.
But yeah, like, first of all, has anybody seen The Tick? And I highly recommend you do. It's so funny. it is just so comic booky. It's got all this humor, and then now you add Stephen Ogg into the series. It just adds this other layer of crazy to it, probably because he was on Broad City, and I actually finally got to see that episode when I told you about that.
Yes.
So he's got the chops. Yeah, he's got good comedic timing.
He does.
He plays a stretchy sort of character, like superhero on the Tick. And Peter Serafinowicz does play the Tick in this series too. They've got some really, really good, funny ass actors. It's just so, it's like something between like almost slapsticky and just adult humor. Yeah. It's terrific for all ages. Honestly, I recommend it. So you know, if any more incentive to actually watch that show, Stephen Ogg will be on it. So thought it was worth mentioning. I think that's really it. I mean, does anybody else have any like other notes or like any other things they wanted to talk about?
Notes. Who needs notes?
Okay.
That's why I go blank half the time during a show. I'm like, I have no notes.
Yeah, fuck this shit. Yeah. I mean, other than Henry gets found out by Beta. I cannot wait to see that. Like, there are things about that sneak peek that kind of get me a little nervous, which is obviously the intention. And that's like, you see this one guy whom you've never seen before, and I think the assumption really is that he's a whisperer that's being
yeah.
But like the way they frame the shots, they make it seem as though they're bringing Henry up on the chopping block. And there's something about the way that's all laid out that like makes me think that it just shakes all the confidence I have in any of the predictions I have, just from that one montage. Like,
I think Daryl spoils it though. I think him and Dog spoil their little decapitation party, and then that's what brings Beta and Daryl into the fist fight later on in the series.
Yeah, yeah.
Is the fact that Daryl, I think, has Dog sniff him out, finds him, and this is me and what I'm thinking, but kind of breaks that whole little party up and drags Henry's ass back to Alexandria and beats him.
But yeah, like that's the strange thing though. Like, you start to notice that, like, okay, we know some things about the Whisperers, sure, but like they ratchet up the tension a little higher, then drop it. Then they ratchet up even higher and drop it. And the more time goes on, the more tense we get when we see things like the baby scene in Connie. You know, and now I'm seeing this sneak peek montage and my heart gets racing even more. So like, they're doing really well at pacing out, like spacing out and pacing out, like what the Whisperers do. You know, they started off with a bang by killing Jesus. You're like, whoa, what was that? What is going on here? You are where you do not belong. It sounded exactly like that. And
was it you under the mask? Did you kill Jesus?
I cannot confirm or deny. Who was that? No, I'm not that tall, so obviously. So no, but like that, and then like you get nothing almost, and then they just kind of slowly build it up, stop. Slowly build it up. It's just fucking genius. Like, because
it makes us want to watch.
Yeah, the reason why I even bring that up is because I wasn't 100% like I love the look of Alpha, and I really liked the take that they had on her. But I was like saying to Carol last week, I was like, I'm not there yet. I'm not here yet. Like, I don't feel terrified yet. And now I'm kind of like, okay, I see it now. I see it. I'm good. And then Beta coming in is kind of like, oh, it's double trouble. So, yeah. Anyway, guys, I think we'll call it a night. So we'll end it off on a bang. On this nouveau precedented 4-hosted chat. I think we did pretty well.
Yeah, this is fun.
This could have gone off the rails.
Good times. It did.
So yeah, for anybody who's hung on this long, I appreciate it. Please give a like. Please subscribe. Hit that notification thing. Rate us on all these damn podcasty things, sites. We really appreciate it. And we really appreciate all of you, by the way, tuning in on all mediums. We got you on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram still. And I think the Instagram is just about to cut out, so we better cut it out before they do. With that, everybody, we are Squawking Dead, and we'll see you next week with maybe more hosts. Thanks, Ashley. Thanks, Chris. And thank you, Carol.
Thank you.
It's always a pleasure. Take care, guys.
Nice meeting you guys.
Bye.
Cheers.
Bye. Later, Dave.
We're still on. It's fine.
No, I said later.
No, I said later, Dave. Bye, Chris. Take care, bud. It's been nice knowing you. Wait, hey, Carol, that was great, right? Oh, I forgot how to end this show properly. Some of you are going to get some extra. And Carol just left. I'm here alone. Bye, guys. Bye, Walani. Bye, Nisa. Bye, Kara. It was really hard to keep track of the chat. I'm so sorry. I love you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's only for the YouTube crowd.